Welcome to the Health Coach Nation podcast. My name is Hailey Rowe, and I'm a sales and marketing coach and LinkedIn lead generation service provider. I work with health, life, and mindset coaches and online service-based business owners to help them get more sales, shift their time to the client-generating activities instead of just the busy work, and overcome that social media overwhelm. Let's get into the show. If you've been working at your coaching business for a while, you might have found out by now that it's not as easy as you thought to get clients. If that is you, I want to invite you to check out my free workshop sharing how to go from crickets to clients, creating a freebie funnel formula. So in the series, I share with you how to make a freebie that people actually want, that they actually opt into, so that you can grow your email list, so that you always have an audience to share your offers with. And you always have an audience where they are being nurtured by you, they're moving through the sales cycle, and you're not stuck every time you have a launch feeling like you have zero eyeballs on your content. So if that has been you, if you've been stuck in that and you know you need a bigger audience, you know you need to nurture your audience, go to haileyrowe.com/live event, all one word, to get the free series and get started. Hello, I am live. Today we're going to talk about how you can get unscattered and unstuck with your marketing. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I hear from so many coaches and entrepreneurs who feel like they have so many ideas and they don't know where to start, or they don't know what to prioritize, or they don't know what to do next. And when you're feeling stuck and you're feeling scattered, it's really hard to get focused and it's really hard to make decisions when you're in that state, right? So the first thing I want to talk about before we even get into the tips when it comes to marketing is we really need you to get into a place where you trust your decisions. And even if you have a hard time doing that right now because you're still a newer entrepreneur and you don't know if the things you're going to try are going to work, you're going to have to be the kind of person who says, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to line up with that decision and give it my all. And then I'm going to evaluate. And then I'm going to repeat the process, because that is how you learn. And if you just stay in the stuck mode or the scattered mode and you write down more ideas and you consume more information and you read more books, you're never actually going to get anywhere. And this is also why many people seek out a coach and reach out to me or book a discovery call at haileyrowe.com, because they do feel like they don't know which things to prioritize, and I can help provide some guidance with that and help them evaluate and help them be able to find out what works for their marketing instead of them just kind of guessing. But no matter what, you're going to have a period where you're going to have to try things, and it's going to feel uncertain because you're new or you've never done it before. And so the first thing we need to do if you're trying to just become a better decision maker is to give yourself a decision-making protocol to get you unstuck and to get you out of what we call I don't know land, where you say, I don't know what works. I don't know where I should start. I don't know what the first step is. Every time you catch yourself saying, I don't know, you have to learn how to redirect that, or you will forever be an entrepreneur who is a wantrepreneur and just stuck and not moving forward. So the questions we can use when I don't know comes up for you is the following. And I know you're going to give me some pushback to question number one, but I'm going to explain. I already got you covered. I'm going to explain what to do if nothing has worked for you yet. But I'm also going to tell you a story about when my client was saying that and it wasn't true at all. So the first question is, what worked or gave clues that it could work when it comes to booking clients in the past? Now, let me explain what I mean by this. If you've had clients, obviously what I'm talking about is, where did they come from? How did they find you? What was their path from being a stranger to you to becoming a client? If they were your friend, how did you conduct the sale? If they didn't know you and they booked a call with you, how did they find that page and what led them to that? So this is the kind of thing I want you to investigate. I want you to put your detective hat on, and I want you to look at all of your past inquiries, calls, even if they ghosted you, even if they didn't show up, past clients you've had, past practice clients you've had, past family and friends who've asked you questions about health, but maybe they didn't work with you, but they at least asked you a question to express that they had a topic that you could talk about that people were interested in. That's the kind of thing I want you to start building knowledge off of, right? So here's the thing. If you've never booked any clients and you're telling me nothing I've tried has worked, okay, that's fine. But what could give you clues? So if you don't even have your own clues, which I would argue you actually do, meaning you can look at, if you've posted 5 times, you can look at the last 5 posts and look at which one got at least 1 like out of all of them, or which one got at least 1 comment, or when you did, have one person ask you a question about coaching, how did they do that? And where did you meet them, or something like that. So these can give us clues to milk and leverage in our marketing, meaning if we met someone at a networking event, maybe we should do more networking events. If we knew someone through word of mouth, maybe we should have a referral program and have something where we say, hey, I'm looking to increase my free calls this week and offer some to people. Do you know anybody who may want one? And if they sign up for a paid program later on, I'm happy to give you a referral commission or something like that. Or I'm happy to send you a freebie if someone you know books a call with me, something like that. So we first have to ask what worked or gave clues that it could work in the past. And then again, if you're still like, no, Hailey, I've done nothing. I've done no posts. I've done nothing. So there is nothing I can look at that has ever worked or indicated it could work. Okay, fine. Then look at people in your field who have been successful and look at what do I think could have potential for me. So if your people in your field are posting on Instagram, or people in your field are listed in some kind of directory that you should be listed in, or if people in your field tend to share that they get all their clients from their podcasts, well, okay, we can start to pick up some clues. And we can also ask yourself, what do you want to work? Meaning, instead of picking a marketing method you're going to hate, like you don't want to start a podcast or you don't want to be on podcasts, okay, fine. Look at the other people around you who've been successful. Look at the different ways they're marketing, because you're going to see it's no one path that everybody does and 100% everybody follows. It's all different, and there's many different ways you can succeed and have marketing success, and say which one of these really resonates with me and which method am I going to work. Because any method can work if you work it and if you're consistent with it. But here's the problem. When you get into I'm scattered and I'm stuck, you don't stick with anything. You jump, you question, you doubt, you stay in learning mode, you consume more things. I have to research more. I can't do it until it's perfect. That's the real problem. So that is the first question, is we need to dissect where are our clues, what has worked in the past, and go deep on it. Don't just write down Instagram has worked in the past. What on Instagram worked? Was it a certain post that someone commented on or replied to a certain Instagram story of yours? And what was the content in that post or in that story? Was it at a certain time of day? Was it a certain type of person where we should actually be marketing more to those kinds of people, right? Go deep on this question instead of just giving me a list of, I went to a fair. Okay, but what at the fair, what did somebody say they were interested in? How many people were at the fair? What time of year was the fair? Are there more fairs like this fair that we could do? Like things like that. So we're really going deep. Stop being scattered and wide and vague. Be very specific. The second thing is, are there clues I can, actually I kind of already covered that. So what worked and what gave clues that could work in the past, and then go deep on the clues. So what clues can I take from those specific instances? Next question is, what do I think is standing between me and my next sale? And the reason why this one's in here to get you unstuck is because a lot of times when you feel stuck, you're thinking really big. You're thinking, I want to get my next 45 clients. And when you're thinking like that and you've had 0, you are getting ahead of yourself and you're intimidating yourself and you're thinking, I gotta go viral on TikTok, or I gotta, post, or you start thinking of kind of vague things because it's a very big, vague goal, right? Or not a vague goal, but a big goal. So we need to instead say, what do I think if I had to get a sale tomorrow? What comments would I say about why I can or I cannot do that? And if you write down, I can't do that tomorrow because I don't know anyone, I don't have anywhere to communicate with people, I don't know what my message is. Well, those are things we need to then say, okay, we're not stuck. We actually have a list here of the problems, and we need to now start coming up with which one of these is the biggest domino, like which one of these is the one that if I figure out, the next steps will become much easier, and start with that one and break it down. So again, if you wrote down, I don't know anyone, again, I would beg to differ. I think you're making things up. At least your family, 5 friends. I'm not saying you have to have them as clients, but we have to start somewhere with saying, okay, well, do they know of any events I should go to networking wise in the community? How did I meet my friends, and could I go to more things like that to meet more people? Right? So really go deep and ask yourself, okay, if this is the big problem, I know 0 humans, how can I meet someone today? How can I go to something that has more than one person there that I could talk to? Something like that. Okay, so write down what is standing between me and my next sale. And then looking at that list, ask yourself, which thing do I think would make the next steps on this list or next problems on this list easier to solve, and start with that. And then ask yourself within that, notice how deep I'm going with this, what would the next step be? And then just do that. So when we are trying to get unstuck with marketing and sales and growing our business, I am a huge fan of this message I'm going to repeat, going deeper rather than wider, right? Everything I built in my business where, I started out just connecting with people I knew and doing market research calls. And I started posting on social media, but I was only really posting on Instagram. And then I felt capable and confident enough with Instagram to add a Facebook group, and so on and so forth. So try to find out, what are you feeling like you're going to be able to stick with when it comes to marketing? Start there. And I love Alex Hormozi's phrase about how in marketing we want to do more of what has worked or what is working. Then before jumping to something new, we just want to do it better. We just want to do it in more volume. We just want to refine that thing that's already going well, and then we can add something new. But the reason why many entrepreneurs and coaches don't do this is because they get bored with it, or they want novelty, or they see someone talking about a new trend and they think they need to jump over to that. But the real power is in constraint and having focus. And even with my clients, when we work together, they say they really like having the guidance, like week by week, of what their plan is, not watching the internet and seeing everyone's ideas, but instead us working together and saying, okay, for you specifically, here's what we should be focused on, and constraining to that. Now, one of my clients, as I told you, she was sharing how I don't know what's working lately, but yet she has had many, many clients throughout the years. And so we had to dig deeper. So we had to say, okay, well, where did your last 5 discovery calls come from? And she said that, and then we were able to say, oh, okay, so one of them came from a certain directory. Are there more directories similar to that that you could get listed in? Even if it may be paid, but we know that your niche is looking at that, right? Or we said, oh, if they came from Google, how can we start to look at your SEO and how is that performing? And could we go deeper on more blogs? Look at your top blog and do more of those blogs for better SEO, something like that. So that's an example of going deeper rather than wider and pinpointing what you can be doing to market and get out there. The other thing is, if you are feeling scattered and you feel like you're missing opportunities, one thing that always do when if I get in a phase where I'm like, things are working, but it's been a while since I've looked at like what is working and what should I be spending more time on, and should I go back to rerunning ads, or should I be doing blah, blah, blah. One thing that I always do is I'll feed my calendar. So I have a calendar link, and in my calendar link, when people book a call with me, I ask, how did you find me? It's the same thing when people join my Facebook group. I have a question in there about, how did you find this group? Why? Because that, to me as a business owner, is the most valuable information I could ever gather from someone. And if they tell me that, I'm able to, every quarter or so, I'll feed that actually into ChatGPT or Claude AI, and I will say, let me know, can you please rank where all these people came from this year? Like, I'll feed my spreadsheet of Calendly leads or my spreadsheet of people who join my Facebook group and say, can you let me know how these people found me? And it will rank it for me in a nice little ranking chart. And what's so interesting is it comes down, like, I know what works for my business, so I don't have to question and wonder. It always says LinkedIn, my top platform, the top place where I build relationships and people book calls. It says some referrals, and I'm able to know which referral sources those are and do more things with them. It says which partnerships, like they find me from a certain guest training I gave for a certain organization, so then I can do more with that organization. But here's the creative thinking required. Like, so for example, if one of my partners, I got a lot of clients from them referring me because I gave a guest talk to their organization, rather than always me saying, hey, let's do another presentation. Because then at some point, yes, you could do more, and I have done that. I've had partners where every year I speak at their event, or every year we do a freebie swap, or every year we do a newsletter shout out. So just repeating. However, sometimes if there isn't an event, there's not an event coming up and you feel like it's outside of your control, there's other things I could do with that information, meaning I can say, well, maybe they don't have their event coming up right now, but maybe instead we could shout each other out on social media, or I'll tag them in my Instagram story today with the goal that maybe they reshare it, and maybe I get in front of their followers because their followers were maybe ones who came to my talk or something like that. Or maybe if we can't do an event talk right now, maybe we collaborate in a different way, or maybe I engage and give them some social media love on their posts, and people will find my profile that way, or things like that. So just make sure that you're getting into solutions mode and getting creative with this, instead of just saying, well, I can't do more word of mouth marketing because it was just word of mouth. It was just random. There's nothing I can do. No, that is not true. That is such valuable info. And let's go deeper with that, and let's milk that, and let's see what else is possible with that. And get creative. Doesn't have to be the same exact way every time. Oh, that Jody referred me to Cameron, and now I need Jody to refer me to all her friends. No. But what we can do is say, okay, Jody referred me to Cameron. Maybe Jody would want, maybe she would be willing to refer me to more people, but also maybe Jody could share, I could ask Jody, like say, hey, I started a referral program. Do you know of any more people like yourself who may want a free session, or who may be interested in my referral program? Or maybe with Cameron now, you let Cameron know you have a referral program instead of even going back to Jody, because you just know that word of mouth works. And now Cameron's your client, and Cameron's getting great results, and Cameron can refer you to people. Or maybe you don't even get Jody and Cameron involved, and you just say, oh, referrals work. I'm going to launch on social media a referral giveaway. Or I'm going to send my email list a notification that I've started a referral program and here's how it works. right? So we don't even have to get Jody and Cameron involved again if you don't want to. But my point is, if you're just dismissing everything as, oh, well, that's not repeatable, I argue against that. And I'm trying to give you prompts and creativity and skills to ask questions so that you can milk it and go deeper rather than wider. So that is the message today. And I really appreciate those of you who are listening. And I would love to know, what is something working for you? Or what is something that you're going to go deeper into because you think it could work for you, because you've seen it work for others, or it's indicated it could work, but maybe it hasn't, fully worked for you yet. But I would love to know. And if you're really still feeling stuck, though, that you want the guidance and you want someone to call you out when you are getting in this mode of like mindset drama, oh, I don't know, I'm so stuck, that kind of thing, that's what I do. So you can go to HaileyRowe.com and get support and be someone who is solutions oriented and making it happen for yourself, with my guidance, with my suggestions on what to prioritize when it comes to marketing and helping you learn sales and marketing, especially if those are skill sets that you feel like you're going to need for the rest of the life of your business. That's what I do. So go to HaileyRowe.com and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.
Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. And if it's really helpful for you, I'd really appreciate if you share it and or leave a written podcast review. This tells the podcast sites that our show is useful and it will be promoted to more people that way. Thanks again.